Hola, welcome to Ida's Kitchen. Bienvenidos. My name is Ida Lugo McAllister, and I am going to demonstrate how to prepare baked breaded pork chops, Chuletas Empanadas al Horno, a recipe from my cookbook. In our culture, the empanadas are cuts of meat dipped into beaten eggs, coated with bread or cracker crumbs, and then fried. I remember my mother crumbling the saltine crackers with a rolling pin to make the breading for our steaks or pork chops. I prefer to bake the breaded pork chops for a much healthier version instead of the traditional method of frying. We can now start preparing the pork chops. Let's prepare the marinade for the pork chops. In a bowl, add 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, 2 minced garlic cloves, a 1/4 teaspoon of light salt or to taste, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. Mix all the ingredients until well blended using a whisk. These bone-in pork chops have been rinsed and they are approximately 1/2 inch thick. Let's pour the marinade over the pork chops. Coat the pork chops evenly with marinade. Cover with lid and refrigerate for at least 4 hours or overnight. I just removed the pork chops from the refrigerator that have been marinating for 4 hours. For the breading, you can use plain or panko breadcrumbs. Panko is very similar to the cracker crumbs. For this cooking demonstration, I will be using the plain breadcrumbs. You will also need several baking pans measuring 13 by 9 by 2 inches. I normally spray each baking pan with extra virgin olive oil. I am going to lightly spray the bottom of baking pan with olive oil. If you feel that you sprayed too much olive oil, then remove excess oil with a paper towel. We can now beat 4 large eggs with a fork and set aside. I filled 2 shallow pans, one with beaten eggs and the other with plain breadcrumbs. We are ready to bread the pork chops. Dip pork chop into beaten eggs. And then coat completely with breadcrumbs. I am going to place the breaded pork chop into the baking pan that we just greased. Continue this process for the remaining pork chops. Once the pork chops are breaded and placed in the baking pan, lightly spray on top with olive oil. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. As I mentioned earlier, you will need several baking pans to bake the pork chops. However, for this cooking demonstration, I will be baking one pan of pork chops. Let's cover the baking pan with aluminum foil and place in the oven. Bake for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes of baking, let's turn the pork chops over. Cover again with aluminum foil and bake for another 20 minutes. The pork chops have been baking for the additional 20 minutes. We can remove the aluminum foil and bake. Uncover for 10 more minutes to lightly brown the pork chops on top. The breaded pork chops have been baking now for a total of 1 hour. Let's check to see if they are crispy brown. Oh wow! The golden brown crust has a crispy texture. The baked breaded pork chops are ready. This is a much healthier version of preparing breaded pork chops. Look how juicy. You can also use a meat thermometer to check the pork chops for doneness. Let's taste the baked breaded pork chops. The pork meat is so tender, tasty, and juicy. Delicious. We normally serve the baked pork chops with arroz con gandules and baked or fried ripe plantains. I hope you have enjoyed watching my YouTube video on how to prepare baked breaded pork chops. Chuletas Empanadas al Horno. Thank you for watching my YouTube cooking video. Please share, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you would like a copy of my cookbook, visit my website, idaskitchenboricua.com, and click on the cookbook tab. My cookbook is a bilingual Puerto Rican cookbook, and it contains 42 authentic Puerto Rican recipes that I learned how to cook while living in Puerto Rico. This side is the English version. If you flip the book over, the other side is the Spanish version. Again, thank you for watching my YouTube cooking video.